Good evening, everyone. Today is February 26, 2024, and it's 6:30 p.m. I would like to call to order this meeting of the Public Safety Committee of the Holyoke City Council. As Jenny Rivera, I am honored to serve as the chairperson of this committee. Before we begin with our agenda, I'd like to take a moment to introduce the members of our committee. We have Councilor Patty Devine to my left, Councilor Israel Rivera to my right.
I make a motion to take up item number 1.
Second.
Minutes of the last meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I make a motion that we accept the minutes, unless somebody has a problem.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay. Now you can take up item 2.
Motion to take up item 2.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, now,
Might have talked to them, so you may. Okay. If you could just make sure the microphones are on too.
item 2 is by Councilor MAGRATH-SMITH. Order that the members of the Fire Commission come into public safety to discuss the recent issues concerning firefighters obtaining their EMT certifications, and we have present Jeffrey Task and
Police chief, or fire chief.
and our fire chief.
The chief, yes.
Make a motion, we take it off the table for discussion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye. So,
Oh, sorry.
go ahead, my bad. Just feel free to go ahead and elaborate on
Yeah.
what you guys are here for, more or less, for what you understand. Because at the moment, we don't see Councilor MAGRATH-SMITH here so that she can elaborate as to the reason for the filing of the order. So I guess I would say you guys can take it from where you guys are at, and then if she comes in, we'll allow her to kind of expand or whatnot.
Sure, no problem. Jeff Trask, representing the Fire Commission. I serve as chair, along with Chief Katalevich from the Fire Department. I did have a chance to speak to Councilor MAGRATH-SMITH regarding this particular issue, and the question that she had raised is after reviewing our minutes over the past couple months, she's noticed a number of individuals who have resigned due to lack of EMT certification. So what we'd like to do is discuss some of the challenges and concerns that we have regarding firefighters obtaining their EMT certification. So the fire chief has prepared some materials regarding kind of the rules and regulations around this certification, and can kind of discuss how the requirement came to be and the history behind that. So, Chief, do you want to share that information?
Sure, no problem. In 1997, the fire department began mandating EMT as a condition of employment as a preparatory tool to trying to acquire an ambulance. That was the chief at the time, set a 1-year time frame from hire to obtain your EMT. Over the years, that kind of morphed to 2 years based on, you have to attend the fire academy when you're first hired. And it was just to give them just a little more time to obtain it. Currently, right now, we're at the point where we have 90 EMTs within the fire department. And shortly, we should be up to about 96. I think it's not as large of a group of people. We've had 3 in recent times that have, and what they do is they have the ability, because they're at the end of the time frame within their condition of employment, to resign. If they resign, that gives them the ability to come back and try to gain employment again once they obtain their EMT. And I think that's something we encourage them to continue trying to work towards getting their EMT. The EMT at this point, the state uses a national registry which is the governing body for all EMS in the United States, and the federal government. So any entities that are doing EMS within the federal government, the military or whatever, are usually all NREMT certified. EMTs, advanced, and paramedics. So what happens is they're the governing body. They have the certification exam. So you'll take your EMT class. You'll do what's a practical board, where they test your skills, your practical skills, and then you'll do a written boards where they test your academic knowledge. And you get a certain amount of chances at these exams before you can no longer take them, and you have to either, they offer now a 24-hour refresher after you have 4 failures, and then you can retake 4 more times. And then after that, you have to retake the class before you can take the exams again. Which is up, because when Massachusetts did it, you only had 3 chances at a failure. So the NREMT actually offers a lot more avenues before you have to take the test again. The other thing that they do is if you have like learning disabilities and you acknowledge these disabilities, you can prove they're diagnosed disabilities to them and show that they'll make accommodations for the exams also. That's pretty much where I'm at with it. If you guys have any questions.
Any discussions?
If I may, Madam Chair, I think Patty had her hand in.
Yeah, just as far as the learning disabilities, I was a fire commissioner during that time, and it's a great thing that they do allow people with learning disabilities to take the test, sometimes alone in a classroom with just the person that's watching the test. So I think, and they, it makes it easier for them, and I think it's important that they get their EMT, even if it's by that means. So I thank you for continuing to do that.
And thank you. And for me, I think I agree along the lines with the educational piece and the requirement. It makes sense, especially if we're having them out there on the front lines. We need to make sure that they're coagulate. Sorry, I have peanuts. I was eating peanuts. I haven't taken lunch yet. So it makes sense to have them properly equipped with the necessary training needed to save a life in case that situation comes. I think for me, where I kind of had this came to me too. Unfortunately, I was able to speak to Jeff about it before, and he kind of alleviated some of my concerns. But after seeing it filed, actually filed on paper, I think for me the crux of it is that what do we have in place to help support right throughout the process, so that way we are making sure that when we're paying these, or because once they graduate the academy, they're with us in a sense, right? They're not with us as a contract, but they're with us and we're paying them. So there's an investment in a sense, right? So we want to kind of see that investment all the way through. So maybe this is something new or something that's not what we've done in the past, but it's like, what are some steps? What are some possible, I don't know if we say requirements that they follow through on certain trainings or certain classes that they might have to take in the future so that we can improve those numbers and we can help make sure they're successful, right? We're supporting their success. And if you need anything from us, please let me know and I'll file the order so that way we can have the conversation and discuss what that looks like, right? Because I think it would be better for us to save money in training that one person the one time and having them go through the process instead of like having them take a variety of different tests over 2 years. And we've been paying them all this time, and then all of a sudden they can't work for us no more, and we got to go through the whole process all over again, which it happens. But if we can try to mitigate it as best as possible, I think that's the one piece I would like to highlight. And again, a lot of this stuff is not in place already, so that's different, but it's just like what would that look like in the future, and what would you need from us? Those are the questions that I have, because again, I spoke to Jeff before, and he kind of filled me in the same thing that you guys just spoke about. So thank you.
I would like to say thank you for coming in and explaining. It is very important, because I've seen it where the fire department will get there before the police department or even the ambulance, and you guys start working on them. So thank you very much for the explanation. And if no other questions,
Can I make a motion that the order been complied with?
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank
Thank you.
very
You
much.
guys have a great evening.
You too.
Thanks. Chief was down there, Dave Pratt, for the next one. For item 3.
I entertain a motion to take up items 3 and 4 as a package.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There's the chief.
Okay. Item 3 is filed by Councilor Israel Rivera. Ordered that the Honorable City Council request the Chief of Police come into public safety to discuss the potential development of a traffic divisions solely focused on mitigating traffic and traffic issues throughout the city of Holyoke. Do I read number-
Make a motion that we take it off the table?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then read the next one too, because we took them as a package.
Item number 4, also filed by Councilor Izzy Rivera, order that the police department present an update on the goals and steps taken to address some of the concerns raised out of the MRI audit.
And I make a motion as well to take that off the table.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I do have Chief Pratt online.
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
Okay, Chief Pratt, whenever you're ready.
Okay, you want me to start, or did you have questions first, or?
So I guess I can start just elaborating.
The report I forwarded, Jeffrey was gonna forward it to everybody.
Hold on one second. That I am not aware of.
It's, you're talking about the
No,
traffic
I
study?
attached it to item 4 instead of 3. It's what I sent out this afternoon.
Is item 4?
That's for item 4, right.
All right, so let's address item 3 first then.
So no, what I'm saying is I thought it was for 4, but it's attached. It must be actually for 3.
So item 3 is kind of contained in item 4 in that report that
Yeah.
I put forward, so.
So,
Jeffrey, you have, Izzy, you have it there. It's a,
I'm looking at it right now. All right, so I guess then you're gonna, I would say for you to present
Want me
on
to
it then.
do a brief overview, I can do that, and then we can go to questions.
Yeah, I think it would be good for you to just do the overview. Yeah.
So, the order was filed, and we were kind of planning this out the last, month or so. I talked to the mayor, and he thought it would be a good idea to have this also come out. Like it's been a year, just shy of a year since the audit was presented to the city council. So we were working on a report. We finished it up. It's sort of, as I think I mentioned in the past, we really wanted to develop a report that could sort of roll with the times as we complete and achieve more of the outcomes from the audit. So when you get a chance to look at the report, you'll see that we went with sort of a green, a yellow, and a red section in the report. The green being things that have been accomplished already. Yellow are in progress, and the red are longer term things that are going to take some more time. And then with that, there's also a brief explanation and with a funding source that was used to do it. And then the back of the report is just some graphs to kind of illustrate it out, and one with each area and the other one for the cost, where it came from. Some things from the report are, were minimal in cost. It was a matter of just, getting some things done at a very minimal cost, and we tried to knock those out and come up to it. Some of it we were already in the process of doing, and some things are in the process of doing right now. So I just felt that the visual of sort of green being, we've done it, yellow, we're working on it, and red, it's going to get there, and the goal is obviously to move the red into the yellow and the yellow into the green. And I felt that this report would help summarize the audit and show what we need to do to keep moving forward. And then to address specifically the traffic portion of the orders, we've talked at length about this. That is in the audit. I did put it in the red section because we're not there yet. But some of that to me is just we are doing traffic and we're doing it through grants and when we have extra bodies, but the goal would be to get the staffing levels where I can have someone assigned there every day. And that would be the hope, and then we would have traffic every day, 3 shifts a day.
So, if I may, Madam Chair.
Yes.
So, if I'm understanding correctly, the green is completed projects. So, police station security, less lethal, which is not necessary. We're talking about taser devices, and police sergeant assigned to oversee programs, certified. So, there are some pieces that are addressed that I see, and it's good that I remember I read the MRI, so I know what we're referring to when you speak of it, but it's not necessarily referencing certain things in the MRI, so you wouldn't be able to know specifically what it is that you're fixing, right, or that you're correcting. But ultimately, I guess for me, from a quick review, because I just saw this now because it was sent at 3:29 today. Some of the things, so the field training program, I see that is in the work.
That's in yellow, correct?
Yeah, it's in the works, but it's more like, to my understanding. Go ahead.
Explain it for you. So that we have a field training program in place,
Right.
but the reason I didn't want to put that just right into the green is because we're still improving on it as we go forward with each class. So I kind of felt it was important to keep that in the yellow because the ultimate goal is to get that to an accredited field training program. So, just to keep improving on it. And when we get it there, then I'll feel more comfortable moving it into the green. But we do have a field training program currently operating.
But is it the same as the one that is it?
So that's the goal there.
Is it the same as the one that was before, or is it like a totally different curriculum? Like when you guys got audited, is it the same curriculum, or is it something that's totally different?
The audit is different. Well, as I explained before the audit, we didn't do the field training when they came out of the academy. We did it when they were reserves, and we had reserve officers prior to the reform bill.
Yeah.
So that all happened at the same time. The reform bill came into play in July. So that right when the audit came was when they saw that we didn't have, in their eyes, a field training program. We actually had not had a class graduate to put through a field training program. So it was a little off base when they said we didn't have a program. We had a program, but we did it at a different level when the officers were with us. But that was literally right after that class graduated, after they came into the audit, was the first one we put through our newer field training program for recruits coming out of the academy, rather than them prior to going to the academy.
All right, and I guess one of the main things that I don't see is the organizational structure of how we're going to work towards, or at least try to work towards, defining roles with regards to civilian roles and police roles. So like, as cited in the MRI, mechanics that could be actual mechanics, people that are serving in certain roles that can actually be filled in for civilian roles. So that way we can have more police officers on the streets and help mitigate some of the overtime costs, versus having them in the building doing administrative work, where we can have civilians doing some of this work.
So some of those things, you're right. We can definitely add that to our red. As you say that, I can see a place to improve on that. Where we are on that right now comes down to funding and staffing. To get civilians in here is the funding, and we're going to have to fund that, and then in order to rotate officers out. Some of the things the audit talked about doing are not feasible for civilians to be doing, so we can't go there. But I can put that into that's exactly the way I wanted to design this, so that as things, that that we want to tackle, and and ultimately long term, when we've accomplished a lot of what the audit put forward, it doesn't, this report can be something that can, go on in the sense of as a model to follow to get things through a process so that we can get it and not lose sight or lose track in getting it done. So I would have no problem like adding that to red and looking at different strategies and funding to get that going forward. This was an overview. This was not there's you'll read in the very first, my synopsis of it is that, it isn't every little thing that was in the audit. It was the stuff that we looked at and tried to focus on so that we could make some progress and we could move forward and take care of those things and then continue to move on other stuff that are longer term goals.
Thank you, and I want to highlight and say that I appreciate the effort with the presentation and with all the stuff that's been put together. It makes a lot more sense, and it's kind of provides something for someone to actually review at the same time when we're talking about the stuff. I'm sorry that it ends up being more of a role for you to kind of be more involved with this part, which kind of I get it. It's not normal, or it hasn't been the norm, but like it kind of helps for me, and I'm saying, and possibly for some of the other counselors to see this like this, as some of us are kind of more visual people, but really appreciate you taking the time to do this, and looking forward to continuing working towards doing some of this stuff. I'll file another order like this later on, like in a year and a half or in a year, just to bring it back and make sure that we're still. So I think, so for here, are we saying that everything that's here are somewhat benchmarks, so that if next year we come back and I sit here and I want to review it again, I can utilize these same documents to measure where have things progressed?
My goal would be to be able to, I want to continue this and update it as we accomplish things and as we move forward, so that you could anytime ask, or you could ask and just ask, and I'll give you an updated one, or file an order, in another couple months. I know there's like one big thing right in yellow right now that's currently being dealt with that I would say within the next month will be completed as well, would be the citywide cameras and the radio repeater room. So those are like two big items that are going to move to the green. And so when that happens, I'll make sure that we update this document on this end, and then I can read this. I could, send it to Jeffrey again, and he could redistribute it again, and then like that. That was my goal with this, to kind of always be able to kind of stay on top of it, and that way, we can put things, and if there's something that comes up that maybe isn't even directly in the audit, right. Put it in the red and say, all right, how are we going to get to yellow with this? Where's the funding? Where's this? Where's that? Move it to yellow and have a plan, and then get it into green. And then it would be a document as almost like a living document that we.
I appreciate that. It makes it so then what you're saying is that we can use this for the next. Let's say I file, and I can call you and I can email you and I can get that information, but I'm only filing it so that the public is aware of just the process and what's happening, just to keep them involved. So it comes, if it's 8 months to a year and it gets refiled and it comes up again, then I'll use this same exact document to go back and check on how's the green doing, where have we moved on the yellow, and have we moved on the red? Because some of them are larger lifts, which like the accreditation, that's not going to be today, tomorrow, and maybe not even 2 years from now, but it can stay on there, and hopefully it can gradually move to the yellow, and then from the yellow to the green. So that's I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Rivera. Also, we have Patty Devine. Councilor Devine would like to speak.
Yeah. Hi, Chief. Thank you for zooming in tonight. I just wanted to commend you and your department for this report. It's so easy to understand with the different colors, the green going to yellow and the yellow going to red. I hope all city councilors will take advantage of this and save it so that they can review it. And like Councilor Rivera says, maybe in the next 6 months or so, we can look at again and see what's moved, or if you could let us know when something moves out of the red to the yellow to the green, that would be very helpful. But I just wanted to thank you and your department for putting this together. And one thing I did read is that it is on the city website, so if the public would like to take a look at this, it's on there. So thank you.
This here isn't on the city website yet. The MRI report is on the city website.
Oh, okay, all right, that one, thank you.
We can make this available to the public. I don't have a problem with that. We can put it on our website or on the city website. I don't have
Okay.
a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chief Pratt. So if we don't have any other questions,
Do you have any? No. I make a motion that both orders have been complied with.
Wait,
all in favor?
did we talk about both? Give me a second. I don't remember.
So the traffic was for the.
Oh, yeah. Those are both. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
All in favor?
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Order has been complied with. Thank you, Chief Pratt.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Okay. Motion to take up item 5.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I would like to quickly recognize that Councilor Cocaine Givner has joined the city chambers here. Item number 5, ordered, filed by myself, Jenny Rivera, Councilor Jenny Rivera, Councilor Juan Anderson-Burgos, Councilor Cocaine Givner, Councilor, ex-Councilor Jose Maldonado-Velez, Councilor President Tessa Murphy-Romboletti, and Councilor Israel Rivera. Order that the City Council work with the mayor and the school superintendent to address the reinstatement of the bus services for Lyman Terrace as soon as possible as a matter of public safety. This has been a service they have received for the past 20 years. So I would quickly say that I was part of the school committee, joint school committee, and we did discuss this. We discussed it with the mayor, with the superintendent, and what we were told was we need to get the budgets and see how the buses is going to affect, if there's something that the city can afford. Also, and it was also brought up that if we were to give the buses to Lyman Terrace, we would have to do this citywide with all the schools in Holyoke. So right now, any questions? Councilor Rivera?
And then I'll have one, Jen.
I think, as you mentioned, a lot of this was covered in the joint school committee meeting. I wouldn't say it's an issue that has gone away, but it's an issue that we have learned that there is more things to unravel if we want to move in the direction as a city to provide transportation to the Lyman Terrace community, even though we've been doing it that way for the last 20 years. I think that there are still conversations being had as to what's the best way to try to mitigate some of the issues around maybe the winter time when it's colder out and things like that. But for now, to my understanding, where it's at is the school has, they have a walking school bus. They have certain teachers that walk a certain route, and they pick up the kids within the communities, and then they all walk back to the school together. I think, and the conversations have been around the school department presenting us budgets around what it would cost to try to fund buses, not only for Lyman Terrace, as you mentioned, but the other community schools too as well that have kids that are living around the same cusp. But thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Rivera. Councilor Patty Devine?
Yes, thank you. My only question, I don't know if we can even get it answered tonight, is this a state law that makes up the mileage from where you know? Oh, is this a state law or a city ordinance my gut's telling me it's a state law, and that's why we have to do it this way. But I'd also, again, it's been around since September of 2023, and I'm wondering if maybe we can do a couple of things. We can either table it or send it to the new joint school and city council committee, and let them work on it.
If I may.
Councilor Rivera?
So yeah, when we filed this order, we were waiting. Like it was either we met first, or the joint school met first, and the joint school met first. So the reason why this order kind of like stood lingering around was because the school had already met, and this was more of like a joint school committee issue. So I agree with what Councilor Patty Devine's sentiment was with regards to either sending it back to joint school. But if we send it back, they're going to say they've already handled it and I've already addressed it. So I'm okay with it being was it complied with, or what's the other one to
I think complied with is good.
Okay. So yes. Oh, and then to answer one of the things, I'm not sure if it's a state law, Councilor Devine. I think I know that what's his name, Superintendent / Receiver Soto had mentioned to me
That might know.
that this was a policy created within the school committee. This is a school committee issue. This is something that was created years ago, and that they just stood with the same system. They didn't really update it or anything like that. But we can entertain a motion to suspend the rules. Do we have to for Mike Bissonette to kind of
moved.
answer these legal questions?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Attorney Bissonette?
Are you on mute?
No, I'm not. Good evening, I'm Chairman, members of the committee. I believe it's a state law that relates to transportation reimbursements that provides a limitation on what will be reimbursed based on the mileage issue. My understanding is that anything that deviates from the state standard for reimbursement is required to be paid for by that particular school district. Hope that answers the question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Entertain a motion that the order is complied with, then?
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Order has been complied with.
Entertain a motion to take up item 6.
All in favor?
Wait, we need a second.
Second.
Second, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item number 6, filed by Councilor Cocaine Givner. Ordered in the interest of the public safety that a traffic safety pledge be created in good faith, and that this pledge be taken by all city employees and officials. All city employees and officials should be expected to model righteous behavior by adhering to speed limits and following all traffic laws, especially when using city vehicles. How can we expect our community to respect its laws if the city employees are blatantly disregarding them?
Motion to take it off the table for discussion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any discussions? We could have Councilor Givner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was hoping, Jeff, can you allow me to share my screen? Maybe.
One moment, let me just set you up.
Thank you. So I put this order in after there were a series of events in the city, including pedestrians being hit while crossing the street, in crosswalks, at lights, people walking on the side of the street, people being hit in wheelchairs. We've had a lot of accidents that have included pedestrians over the last couple of years that have been, some even have been fatal, and even recently we lost a member of our community. And I think this is really sad. We are not really, we're not all doing what we can to mitigate this problem. It's easy to try to put the blame on, one department, or say, I often say that our ordinance does require a traffic unit through our police department, and I think that should be a priority for the city. But in addition to that, as community members, there's a lot of things we can do. So let's see. I don't know how to share my screen. Sorry, Jeff.
If you hover over the bottom, there should be a share screen button right under the list of names.
Okay. Got it. Ta-da. Okay, it looks like. It looks like I have too much security on my computer.
And let me come out and see if I can help you figure it out.
Okay. But basically the essence of this order is to create like a community-wide effort where we as local officials, community members, take a safe driving pledge. So it's back here somewhere.
So share, and then which one?
Local Jeffrey, this is Kelly. I think I have the option to share my screen, and I have your pledge right here, if you want me to.
Yes, please.
Yeah, because it's hard to see which one is.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's a lot going on.
Okay, so.
Sorry.
Okay, Kelly, we'll-
Oh, sorry. It says host disabled participant screen sharing, so I can.
I don't know. I broke it.
Yeah, she.
Here,
it
probably
just-
there.
Oh,
There you go.
all right, all right.
And so, once Kelly puts it up, you'll see it says that I took the Holyoke.
Coco, I can't because it says host disabled sharing. So if
Kelly, I
Jeffrey
just
could
have
give.
to set you up as a co-host.
Okay, perfect.
All right, you should be all set.
Thanks, Jeffrey. Can you all see it?
Not yet. Ah, there it is. Nice and corny. There I am. So basically the idea is that we would create this sort of graphic for people, and you could email in your picture, and we could post it either on a city website or make a sticker or something. We haven't quite figured that out. But the idea is to take it as a good Samaritan and take this pledge. And on the first graphic it says, Holyoke Safe Driving Pledge. I took the pledge as a Holyoke resident, city employee, or public official. It's my pleasure to take this voluntary good faith pledge in an effort to create accountability and lead by example as a safe driver in our community. And then, Kelly, can you put the next page?
Will do. Oh,
Almost.
sorry.
That's okay.
I didn't open it up fully. You could see all my stuff.
Or back and forth. And so in the next slide, so it's a two-part thing, and here's the exact pledge. So we went over it, a few people, and just came up with these kind of, these are our laws and our ordinances, so it's just pledging that you'll follow them. And it includes adhering to our 25 mile per hour speed limit, which is, I think, would make a huge difference in our city if people would pay attention to that. Fully stop at stop signs and look for pedestrians and traffic. As we know, we're constantly putting in ordinances to add stop signs and four-way stops, and that's because people are either half stopping or not quite stopping at the stop signs, which is incredibly dangerous. Adhere to all school safety speed limits. That's really important around our school zones when kids are coming in and out of school or getting off the buses. I believe it's a 20 mile per hour speed zone around schools, and considering that the speed for the city is 25, that shouldn't be too hard to adhere to. Being mindful during school start and end times, because there's kids running around. They could run out into the street, for example, and get hit by, a truck. So I think it's really important that all of us are aware and paying attention. Approach school buses with caution in case they're going to stop. And as you know, school buses stop on like every block and you're not allowed to pass them. So if you do pass them, not only is it against the law, but you're really putting kids in danger when they're, quite possibly running across the street. Yield to pedestrians and crosswalks, again, another state law that we could all be mindful of. Wearing a seatbelt at all time, state law, this is something that saves our lives and others. Being mindful and giving space to bicyclists, and this goes for pedestrians as well, but I do see a lot of bicycles, and we do have we have an aging population, and I do see a lot of like scooters, for people in like those scooter wheelchair things that are pretty fast, and a lot of times they're on the street, unfortunately, because a lot of our sidewalks aren't in the best shape. So now that people are forced to use these on the street, and we really need to give them the right of way for their own safety. What else here? Oh, be patient and allow time during commutes. Holyoke's not a big place, so we shouldn't really need to speed anywhere. It takes no more than 15 minutes to get anywhere here in traffic. So let's give ourselves a little time and park in designated parking areas, not text or use handheld phones while driving. This is another state law, and support traffic calming measures when they come up in your community, because we're doing our best to curb these issues, but we can't do it alone. So thank you for your time, and I hope this is as fun and corny and helpful as I'd like it to become.
Thank you, Councilor GIVNER. Any questions under discussion?
I have a comment whenever.
Councilor Patty Devine?
Thank you, Coco, for filing this order. It's almost a year old, which is too bad that it wasn't sooner. But what I'm wondering, not being so astute to putting certain things on and my picture in and all that, I think it's a good idea. Is this something that would go on Facebook and then people would do it that way? I mean, to put it this way, I don't think I think it would be difficult to order each and every employee of the city to take this pledge. But I think if you put it someplace, whether it's on the city website or Facebook, where people could voluntarily do that, I think it would be a good idea. And whichever way it goes on, whether it's a city council website, the city website, or Facebook, I think it's great, but please help me to figure out how to do that.
The graphic is really simple, and on the first page there's a contact us if you want to take the pledge, and basically you'd send an email with your picture. We could drop the picture in and send you the digital file back, and you could share it in any places you like, for example, social media. Kelly Curran is on this meeting too, and we had talked a lot about somehow figuring out a way to make it available to people more easily, city employees. And as you mentioned, it wouldn't be a requirement. It's really just something that makes us all think a little more while we're driving around the city. And if you take the pledge, then you're being a little more mindful. And we've talked about maybe making a sticker that has, Holyoke drives 25 or something, and something simple that we could give people who take the pledge if they wanted to be corny like me and put it on their car. But I think it really does take a village, right? Mm-hmm. So, but I know Kelly had some ideas that we might be able to put it up on the city website somewhere, and then we would just have all those I took the pledge things, all over the place, anywhere people would want them. But it's not finalized, but yeah, it wouldn't be a requirement. It would be encouraged.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Kelly,
Councilor
do you have
Rivera?
any ideas about that? No? Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah?
Did I stop sharing?
No.
Oh, it's still there?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on a second. Yeah, no, I echo everything Councilor GIVNER said. I even thought, but I don't want to get too crazy, that it could be a citywide thing. I think a lot of city leaders and business owners, it would make a big difference if they also pledge to drive safely in the city. But yeah, we could share it on the website. We could post it in different areas where people who don't have social media could see it. We could also give it to new hires upon their onboarding appointments.
Thank you, Kelly. Councilor Rivera?
Thank you, Councilor GIVNER, for this order. This is a pretty actual, it's a cool order, because I feel like it's first of all, we don't necessarily need a policy to do this, right? This is more of a feel-good, happy-go-lucky campaign that we're trying to put together here, or Councilor GIVNER is, and she's looking for support. It would be great, and obviously it's all voluntary, it would be great to have support from the city somehow. To me, it's who could take on the responsibility, right? Would it be Kelly's office? Would it be someone from police, because it's a traffic thing? Would it be someone through fire? It all depends, or they can all share the responsibilities. But then there's like a small piece of like what would it cost, right, finance wise? Like whether it's who's putting in the effort to kind of like share the Facebook post, or because I could see like small lawn signs out there in the front that says, "Have you taken the pledge?" You know what I'm saying? Like, where's the money going to come for something like that? Because it would be great to do something like that to continue to push that. We need more positive energy initiatives like these that kind of help us combat some of the other narratives that are constantly coming out and the negativity that's happening. So I'm in support of this 110%, and I would actually like to see how we can actually formalize some of it. Again, it doesn't have to be mandatory for anyone to take it, but it would be great to see people want to take it and it be shared and be gone through, like, get viral real quick over it. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to add to, like, right now it just has my email address on it, like, and it says, reach out, take the pledge, send in your picture, and post your support. So, you know, it could start this small with me just like gathering the graphic and sending it back to people as a digital file. But I agree, for long term, it would be nice to see something like this turn into a larger campaign. Like I did traffic signs that said, you know, this is not a highway, and you can kind of see those randomly throughout the city still. And I use my own funding for that, and some people donated to pay for their own. But I feel like that kind of campaign is really helpful, and it makes people feel like, you know, at least we're doing our part, at least as individuals, to combat it. You know, we can't do it all by ourselves, but I think being mindful and yeah, just making an effort makes a big difference.
Thank you. Councilor Devine?
Yes, I agree with this. I think what we need to do is make it a fun thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that we need to put emails in there, because the one thing we don't want to have people say they're just doing it for political reasons,
Right.
you know? So I love it. I think it's going to work, but I think we need to make it fun.
So we can change the email to, like, take the Holyoke pledge at Gmail or something, and make it a little more generic. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And, you
Good
know,
idea.
again, I just don't want people to say, oh, well, this is interesting.
Yeah.
You know, make it fun, make even young drivers that are just getting their license, you know, something like that. But
Like, it's okay to only go 25.
yeah, saw one today. But that's all I'm saying is I prefer that, and we've already said it's not going to be mandatory. It'll be voluntary. But I think if we make it fun, and you know, to your colleagues, to your friends, your relatives, you know, say, hey, did you take the pledge? And they say, well, how do you do that? And then just say, go on Facebook or go on the city website, and you'll see how to do it. That may catch on easy. Okay, so that's just my suggestion.
Thank you. And I am in favor of this order. I just think it's so important, and with what has happened the last 2 weeks, well, like you said, it's been going on, is an on thing going, but right now, recently, 2 weeks ago, 2 elderly in 1 week. So this would definitely be something that I am supporting. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of families out there, and it, like Patty Devine says, Councilor Patty Devine, let's make it fun. I'm pretty sure we'll get a lot of people in support of this. Thank you, Coco, for filing this order. Any other questions? If not,
Just one quick,
Oh.
to Kelly. Thank you, Kelly, for zooming in tonight. Maybe, and again, to make this fun, certainly not make it mandatory, just send it out to all the departments, the department heads, school department, and maybe we can get it going that way as a fun thing.
Councilor Rivera?
So real quick for Councilor Givner, complied with?
Yeah, I imagine so.
All right. Awesome. So then I entertain a motion that the order is complied with.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Order has been complied with. Thank you.
I entertain a motion to take up item 7 off the table.
Second, sorry.
All.
I'm reading it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 7 filed by ex-councilor, do I say ex-councilor? No, former councilor,
There you go.
Jose Maldonado-Velez. Order that the city provide an update on any anti-racism and diversity training already in place for employees and update on how it can be improved. And we do have Kelly Curry from Human Resources, and I believe she has posted updates, but Kelly, we'll let you go ahead and take the floor.
Hi, thank you for having me tonight, and I want to thank Jose for creating this order. Part of the work that I did at the school department had a lot to do with anti-racism and increasing diversity, so I was excited that he brought it up and that we're able to have support from the council to continue this work on the city side. I did send you all a very detailed letter, but I don't want to read it out loud, so I'll just touch on the training that has happened so far, and you could ask me any questions after that I may have missed from the letter. So we recently had department head training for department heads and supervisors on February 6th and 7th. That was facilitated by the Management Center, and it was called Managing to Change the World. Almost all of our department heads participated, and if they didn't, they sent a leader from their department to participate. And there was a heavy focus on leading with a lens of equity and inclusiveness. So I got nothing but good reviews from it, and I think what they learned they'll share with their staff and employees, and hopefully we'll have some more in the future. We've had anti-harassment training, which includes bias and sexual harassment and any other kind of harassment that you could think of by KP Law last May and July. There were 309 employees who were trained, and we're looking to train the remainder and have regular updates every couple of years or every year or so for whoever's new or may have missed it. And then lastly, we had building a racial equitable Holyoke through Mass in Motion. Our Mass in Motion coordinator and myself coordinated with Healthy Resources in Action in May of last year, 2023. After this training, we decided to put a pause to pursue a more strategic approach for a better outcome, as there were employees there that were at different levels of learning in the training, and we just thought that we need to take a step back and reevaluate how we roll out anti-racism training. So we recently just sent out a survey asking all employees how they felt the climate and culture was in the city, and what they think we could do better. So we're getting that data analyzed, and then we'll have some focus groups, and then we'll start to have training that'll inch into the work.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilor Rivera?
Just to get back, I heard one piece where you said that in certain trainings, if some people can't make it, they would just send a leader. Is that for like a diversity equity training? And if it is that the same policy for like the sexual harassment training?
No. So the training that I was referring to was specifically for department heads or supervisors.
Okay.
So, someone came from every department that was a supervisor or in some kind of leadership role.
Okay.
But no,
and
for the anti-harassment, we expect everyone to participate in that.
Right.
Just like they signed a sexual harassment policy, we expect them to participate in the training.
So yeah, I think that kind of speaks to one of the things that I kind of want to highlight or maybe expand on. So for the sexual harassment one, it's mandatory required, and we have a significant of people attending and doing it. But for diversity, equity, and inclusion, we're still rolling it out and working it through. I totally get that it's new and that we're working on that, and that the learning levels are different. But it would be good to see that one day that the diversity, equity, inclusion trainings are kind of as mandatory and well attended like the sexual harassment trainings are. The importance is almost similar, right? Where we're making sure that the service that we're putting out there from the people that are working for us is service that's not, in a sense, offending or hurting anyone that we're trying to serve. And I don't think people, well, on some cases maybe some people are doing it intentionally, but for the most part, I don't live assuming that our employees are doing that intentionally. You don't know what you don't know is one of the most things that I try to live by. So you wouldn't know that you're offending somebody if you don't understand background, culture, and all the other things. So I know that you guys are working on it. I just kind of wanted to put together the ideas of that. If we're going to lead with diversity, equity, and inclusion as something that's important, I think that for us, we got to work towards, and that's what we're doing now. We got to work towards implementing this and making it something that is a priority for us. And thank you for all the work that you've done so far around it.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I totally agree. It should be mandatory, and it probably will be, hopefully, in the future.
Okay, thank you. Should complied with, Kelly?
I think so. It was Jose's order. I think he just wanted an update. I would say it is. And I can give you an update, when we move, after the analysis, the data is analyzed about the responses, I can send the council an update on what our data found and our next steps.
Entertain a motion that the item is complied with. Then?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you. Good night.
I would like to recognize that Councilor Megan McGrath-Smith has just joined the city chambers.
I'd like to entertain a motion to take up item 8.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. If I might, Madam
Aye, too.
Chairman?
Yes.
If I might, okay. Well, I'll go ahead and read the order first, and then I'll make a comment on it.
Okay. Or item 8 is item 8, filed by former Councilor Jose Maldonado-Velez, Councilor Juan Anderson-Burgos, ordered that we create a food economy coalition to identify and propose innovative policies, programming, and/or project solutions to improve the Holyoke food system and food, entrepreneurship. I know I said that
That's
wrong.
a tough one.
Recommendations will be made to align bodies such as the Office of Planning and Economic Development, the City Council, and relevant city departments. I guess that's it.
Yeah, DPW Board of Health. So if I might.
Councilor Devine?
Yeah, the only thing I would say is that this was in City Council on January 18th, 2022, which is, a lot older than we should be looking at it. And it was received and reserved to public service. And then it was a copy to public safety. So if it's already been received and referred to public service, January 18th, 2022, I have to assume that's already been taken care of. So I would give this leave to withdraw only because it's only a copy to public safety. It's not the regular order. The official order, I should say.
Councilor Rivera?
So, and you are correct in almost everything you're saying there, Councilor Devine. I think the only one thing is, and I'm not sure where it's at in public service. For me, I left it off public safety because there were still some things that needed to be hashed out with the people that are working on this between in the Office of Economic and Planning and Development. So maybe it is that it is in public service, but I do remember them telling me to hold off on it for a little while because they're still hashing out details. And before all the details get put together and they move forward, that they wanted to make sure they had everything all together. But if it's still in public service, and I think this is a question that we could have for Jeff, then we can entertain.
Yeah,
that
maybe
too.
we could just make a motion to refer it back to public service.
Oh, Jeff actually has his hand up too.
Oh, Jeff?
Jeff?
So this was refiled later on, went through ordinance, and you all actually adopted this through ordinance last year. So we put this on the agenda just to get rid of it.
Okay, so motion that the order's been complied with?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Entertain a motion to take up item 9.
Second, sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item 9, filed by Councilor Israel Rivera, order that the City Council invite the Department of Public Works, as well as the Parks and Recreation Department to a Public Safety Committee meeting to address the upkeep and/or improvement of Laurel Street Park. Councilor Rivera?
So
Is anybody here, though, from the DP?
no, then there's no one here right now. Well, I'm okay with complied with for this order, mostly just or leave to withdraw. Honestly, there are some things coming up right now with Laurel Street Park. They're making some improvements right now. They're working on the fountain because they're going to be dedicating, hopefully, the fountain to the great Helen Norris, former Ward 3 councilor. I actually was there. I live right next to the park. I was walking the park today, walking my dog, and one of the patrons that usually frequents the park stopped me. I don't think he notices that I'm a city councilor, but he stopped me and he said, they took my benches away, because he usually sits there and he spends about an hour at the bench just hanging out on the phone or whatever he does. He does it daily. And I looked at him, I was like, yeah, I noticed that, because they eliminated all the benches. And I forgot to make the phone calls to the Parks and Rec. I made the phone call while he was there, and Tommy Reynolds let me know that they're replacing the wooden slats on all the benches. So the benches will go back. They're just actually upkeeping the park and trying to bring it back to life for the dedication. So yeah, we can leave to withdraw or comply with, whichever one we feel.
Madam Chair?
Oh,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Yeah, I can offer a quick clarification on this one too. So this was filed in January. March of that same year, 2 different orders were filed, one to address the lighting and one to address the fountain at
Right.
that park, and those were complied with. This one just remained in the jacket.
You have a good memory, Jeff. That's exactly what happened. I was the one that filed both of them. Filed the water fountain one, and I filed this one, and the water fountain got handled. But then the water fountain got messed up again, but which they're fixing it again. But yeah, this could be leave to withdraw then.
I think either leave to withdraw or complied.
Doesn't
with.
matter to me. Yeah.
I think complied with gives it a more positive
Okay.
thing. So I'll make a motion that this order has been complied with, and appreciate the Parks and Rec for taking care of those benches.
Yes. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Entertain a motion to take up item 10.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 10, filed by Councilor Juan Anderson-Burgos, ordered that the DPW seek an alternative solution for rock salt. Salt is corrosive to vehicles and roads and can contaminate drinking water and be toxic to wildlife.
Make a motion, we take it up for discussion?
Yeah. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can,
Councilor Rivera?
yeah, real quick, and I think we'll defer to Jeff if anything. But we've taken this up twice already. They came in, DPW came in and spoke on a variety of different issues, and I think the city engineer did at one time. One around costs with regards to what else is out there, and another around the toxicity to the wildlife and the contaminating to the drinking water. But again, Jeff, our administrative assistant, if there's anything else that we wanted to add, or if we're doing this just to get rid of it, let me know.
Yeah, this was put on as another cleaning out the jacket item. One time when it was brought up, it was Mike McManus that was DPW director or was superintendent at that time. And then the second time it came up was when Amy came in to talk about it. And both times it was really a cost prohibitive thing.
Thank you. That's exactly what I remembered. So yeah, I entertain a motion that has been complied with.
I just got a quick question.
Go ahead.
Jeffrey, what was cost prohibitive? Having rock salt or the?
An alternative to what they're using right now.
So the alternative, what they're using right now, is the correct thing they should be using. If I recall, Counselor Jim Leahy every year in the wintertime would file an order to have the DPW come in because he worked for the Department of Transportation at one time. And what they were doing was they were adding a lot of water for some reason. And what he would have the Department of Transportation do, come in and measure it to make sure it wasn't all water, which would freeze. Okay? So I don't know if that's still okay, or if they're doing that. The only thing I can think of is certainly make it complied with, but because winter hopefully is almost over. But let's watch it in the future to make sure that it's not rock salt, because it shouldn't be.
I'm not, and Madam Chair, through the chair, I know when they came in, they spoke that the materials that they're using, it didn't come up as like something that they shouldn't be doing with regards to the materials that they were using. It's more about what's more conducive to environmentally friendly stuff, to my understanding, that this was filed under. But that you brought up, Councilor Devine, is new to the thing. There's a new idea to the conversation.
Yeah.
You know, that was not something that was brought up then, especially with the adding in of the the water piece. That's an interesting piece, and that would be interesting to like maybe filing an order to just or making a phone call to have the conversation, whichever one, to see if that's still happening or if it's not. But to my understanding, it was mostly around trying to find out what is another solution to mitigating the ice problem that is actually more eco-friendly to the drinking water, because a lot of it goes into the with the water table and things like that. But that's an interesting point that you brought up, and that kind of throws off the idea. I never had to remember.
Let's hope winter's over really soon, and we can worry about next winter.
So for now, I would say comply with or leave to
second.
Entertain a motion to comply with.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And then the final one is entertain a motion that the meeting is adjourned.
Did you say adjourn?
Yeah.
I think if I could ask Councilor MAGRATH-SMITH, did you hear any of our meeting or see any of our meeting in the beginning?
So unfortunately, I was presenting to the school committee at 6 o'clock, a letter from the Ian White PTO. So I was very ambitious. I thought half an hour, yeah, it'll be good. Of course, it ended at 7:15, and I was rushing here. So I will go back in and I'll listen to the tape.
But yeah, it was a good meeting. They both were here, and we had it complied with.
And that was the goal. That was just to create a opportunity for them to have that conversation with you all. So that's good, and I'll go back and rewatch it.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. I second, Counselor.
I'm with it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved.
So move.
Okay.
Good night.
Congrats. Meeting is
Not
adjourned.
bad. You did a good job.
Good job.
Good job. Good job. Hi, Tessa.